Easter egg hunt. We just did one that was gonna be 12 years or 15 years or something like that. We do that. We do toys for tots. We do gumbo for the elderly or gumbo for the people. We do back to school drives. I mean, we just do stuff for the community. You know, mentor with the youth, go to the schools and talk to the kids, read to the kids. I was doing that before I was mayor, you know, so, and I was doing it before I was a parish councilman. I'm a 30-year barber, still own my business, you know, own the trucking business, but the barber shop, you know, is in the heart of the community, still going strong. You know, so, you know, my ears is always to the streets, and we hear the complaints of the people, and I'm always just one that, you know, you can't keep complaining on the sideline, especially if you figure that you could help and do something about it. So, you know, it's easy to coach, you know, when you go to a game from the stands, but when you get on the sideline or you want to put you in the game, then what you going to do? So instead of complaining, then I got involved and I said, let me get in the game. I decided to run for mayor. I always said I wanted to be, not always, but as got into politics as a parish councilman, my goal was to be mayor right at this time. So, you know, God is good. But, you know, that was the plan, meaning that just because I planned it doesn't mean that I was going to actually be the mayor. But if you didn't plan it. So I planned to do 12 years, say that, you know, if God had it and the people had me, you know, to continue to win, which I did, went unopposed, then after I turned out, I was going to be mayor. You know, I set it up where I was going to be financially able to be mayor at this time because I didn't want to be dependent on a mayor's salary because I knew when you come in this seat, you have to make hard decisions, and I didn't want to have to make hard decisions depending on me becoming mayor again another term on, you know, people having to reelect me and making people upset when you have to try to bring change there. So all of that plan was planned like 20 years ago. But this is what happened when I turned out as a parish councilman. You know, Mr. Nelson was
Mayor.
and I really figured that he would have been mayor and it would have been perfect. He would have been pretty much on his last term, or you know, even not, I would have ran against him. But I figured he'd have been about to be done with that. But he lost. He lost to Mayor Melinda, right? Mel, right? So when she won, I mean, me and Mel graduated together. She was the first black mayor, woman mayor of St. Martinville. You know, and as a woman mayor, it's a big accomplishment. So just because I wanted to be mayor, I said, well, I'm not going to be trying to run for mayor just because I want to be mayor. I have to give her a chance. Not thinking that, you know, in her first term, the city would have declined at a rapid pace as it did. I actually went, you know, to help her. I sat back. I said I was going to do something different. I didn't have to be mayor. You know, and I really got it out of my mind, okay? So after 2 years of her being mayor, the city started declining, and of course I got approached by so many people as I got approached when I was a parish councilman to run, but I wasn't going to break my plan. I needed to finish my term as parish, and then I would run for mayor. But after 2 years of her term, you know, many people approached me. And, I mean, I live in that city. I love that city. I invest in that city. My business is in that city, you know. So, you know, once again, I feel and felt that I could have helped and I could have do something about it. So I decided at the last minute to jump back in. You say, listen, I need to get back in the game, and I need to do what I need to do. God, you know, listen, that's the vision I had, that's the plan I had, and I think God really had that vision for me as well. I needed to run, and so I ran. I ran for mayor because this, like I said, the city was declining, and I won. And when I took over the city, first of all, I give all glory to God. Once I found out the condition the city was in, I was like, oh my God, what you got yourself into? Because, you know, it's like you getting a team to try to get to the playoff and you got no players or no money to get players, and it's like, but they expect you to win. All eyes on me. The city was in
Financial
deficit, almost just about $1 million, almost $1 million. No money, Infrastructure was outdated, broken down. Vehicles was broken. Equipment was broken. No policies, no procedures. It was like the Wild Wild West.
Yes.
I mean, listen, I could sit here for 2 hours and then I could just blow you guys' mind. And I'm not gonna sit here and blame everything on the previous mayor, because that was the problem, and that's why we had to change from that charter, right? Because there was no accountability. The mayor was blamed the council, and the council blamed the mayor.
Yeah. They were playing tic-tac-toe.
Playing tic-tac-toe, but who was hurting? The city of St. Martinville. The people. And the state was about to take us over. I mean, if you guys remember, we was on TV3 every meeting, right?
Yes.
TV3 would set up a camera in our meeting, okay, because it was always drama.
That's right.
The meetings was packed. I mean, standing room only, because it was a show. It was like a Jerry Springer show.
It was a circus.
It was a circus. And, you know, listen, St. Martinville was always a place that was respected. I grew up there. I mean, we was respected for so many reasons. We were respected for sports. We was respected for the parades. We was respected for our nightclubs. We was respected for we was just respected anywhere we went. I was in the service. We go overseas. We go places, and they'll say, "Where you from?" I'll say St. Martinville. Now, St. Martinville is a little small place on the map, but they heard of St. Martinville. They heard of St. Martinville.
One thing about St. Martinville was a place where people could socialize and love would spread.
Right.
Somewhere down the line, they lost that accountability to spreading love. Looked like everybody just went different ways and began to, go in battles against one another. That was never the plan for St. Martinville.
Well, I think, when Martin Mill left, I mean, it definitely did a deficit to St. Martinville. So we understand, the financial or the burden that the industry did when it left St. Martinville. It just took us out of, I mean, it brought so many people from out of different cities to our city.
That's right.
But at the same time, we still had the sports, we still had the nightclubs, we still had the parade, we still had things that people knew of St. Martinville, and it was for something good.
Yes.
So, but then that changed, right? And it changed tremendously in this last term of that political arena, right? So when you started going places and people was like, "Where you from?" St. Martinville, man, what y'all got going on over there, man?
Yeah,
It's like, I can't wait for y'all meeting to come on so I could. And it became to be a circus and a joke, and it became to be embarrassment where you didn't even want to say that you was from St. Martinville.
Yes.
And that was a problem. So I knew that we didn't have no unity. We was divided. The city became totally divided, and it was getting worse and worse. And so I felt that it was my responsibility, my obligation
to bring it
back together. And one of the things I ran on was unity. And I knew that I had the resources, meaning that I served with Senator Fred Mills, right, as a parish councilman. I served with Representative Mike Uval as a parish councilman. And Representative Marcus Bryant is one of my best friends. So I knew that I had the resources, and also I had the knowledge of doing 12 years in the political arena already to know how government works. So I used those skills, and of course God first, and prayed and prayed and prayed, and asked people to pray and pray and pray. And we was able to turn that thing around within a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half. And that's a miracle, meaning that we went from $1 million deficit to a surplus.
Yes.
We got brand new equipment, over almost $1 million worth of equipment, meaning from street sweeper, backhoe, dump trucks, and go on. We had got new leased vehicles, right? So we had vehicles, trucks that they was patching up to ride down the road. Everything you do is a representation of St. Martinville.
Yes.
So we was riding in broken down trucks, like trashy, broken down trucks, police cars.
They didn't have body cameras. They didn't have
police cars, broken
equipment.
down. Couldn't even do a high pursuit chase.
Yes.
Overheating. The body cameras didn't work. The radios didn't work. They didn't have no tasers. They had to buy their own guns and get it taken out of their checks.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we was paying insurance on vehicles or equipment, meaning like four-wheelers or equipment that we didn't even have. You know why? Because they were stealing it, and we were still paying on it. And you had no accountability. These guys and the employees was taking overtime like it was for free. And why they was taking it, because they hadn't got a raise in over 12 to 15 years. So they was taking the overtime, but the overtime was costing us almost $500,000 to $700,000 a year. You know what I'm saying, in overtime. So listen, all of that made so much of a difference, but once again, we was able to get over $18 million worth of grants in these 3 years. Between grants, capital outlay, and the thing is, Martinville couldn't get grants previous because when you get a grant, you have to put 25% match. And if you got no money, then you can't get no grant.
That's right.
And I mean, without no grants, then you can't move.
Town can't move.
Town can't move, man. So, right now we got so much things going on till, I have my Public Works Day wore out because we got sewer improvements, sewer, we got water.
I heard that on the news.
We got streets, we got sidewalks, we got all kind of things, and they need my guys to be a part of it, and we don't have the manpower, so, and it's like everything at one time, and it's like, man, we just never had this before. My engineer said, Mayor, you apply for all these grants and you get all these grants. She said, I might have met with the last mayor 3 times in 4 years, and I got to meet with you every week. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the difference,
Well, I don't want to take nothing from her, but the last mayor was a female, and they dogged her.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they couldn't work. The council and the mayor could not work together. That, and unfortunately, that's what hurt her terms in the office, is because that it was more of a clown show than it was of trying to move the town.
It was more, to me, a female was in charge, and most males do not want to take order from a female.
Well,
and
all right now, you're into nuts and bolts, my brother.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is. Hey, man, look, we could go back to the presidency. Don't tell me. Don't tell me we could go back to the presidency. Oscar, and that's the way it was. Even when Hillary Clinton ran, men do not want to take orders from a woman in a skirt.
Well, let me tell you something. I think you just put yourself in trouble. Unfortunately, luckily you don't have a wife, because no matter what, when you're at home, you got to take orders from that woman, because she give you that honey-do list.
At home,
she give you that honey-do list.
At home.
I'm gonna break the difference. Jason,
this is
global. Put yourself. You got a wife, right, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
And what you got to do, that honey-do list, right?
At home. But this is politics. You understand me? This is running a city.
While it's it should never be about the sexual agenda of a person. It should always be about the qualifications and capabilities.
Right.
It's the same way
as
as
they prejudice they even prejudice in the church.
Yes,
the church
I know, Brother Paul, but we trying to stray away from that, because if you understand where I'm coming from, that's why we have so many things that we fighting for right now, because of some type of discrimination. All right, that shouldn't be.
It's more so. Then we got the other thing. Sometimes people stay past their pride.
Yeah.
Instead of move on and let bring in new leadership, but you grooming them all the time before you leave.
Well, like I always say, brother Paul, one thing about leadership. And Jason, I'm gonna tell you this. When you got somebody that's old and that's been in a position for such a long time, sometimes they get burned out in being in the position.
Right.
Well, not just that.
They get burned out in being in the position.
They take the position and use it for self.
Yes.
And not for the
whole
position,
entire people.
The position that they're supposed to be representing.
So
that's why I respect Jason, because
he's a younger individual
and he's ambitious
to move the town.
He got a vision. He's into his God, and I know for a fact when God wants you to move,
He gonna move you. Yeah, he gonna
know?
move the mountain.
He'll
He gonna move you.
yeah, he'll give you insight to make things better, and the Martin ran St. Martinville for years.
Yeah, Eric.
And they didn't do a thing for St. Martinville.
Well, St. Martinville always had poor leadership, and I listen, man. That's my hometown. I just was so upset with the way things was done. I mean, it was improperly done, and me being who I am and knowing that there is better.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who didn't understand that there is better. They went with the nonsense.
Right.
Just like you say about the meeting. People used to rally into the meetings because they knew it was going to be nonsense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. They don't come with nothing good.
It wasn't nothing good. And I would refuse to go participate in that foolishness because you knew it was foolishness.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about moving the town. And that's why I applaud Mayor Jason Willis for, what he has accomplished. But now you got 3 other people that's running against him.
But wait.
And the question is, what are they going to bring to the table?
Better than what he's doing.
Better than what and that's the question that people got to ask.
Thanks. Yeah.
Each candidate that's in the race right now, in the mayor's race, should be answering the people. What are you going to do different that Jason is not doing?
What can they do better?
And that's right.
Better. Because from what I'm hearing on the news, that the water system is getting ready to go through some revitalization.
Right.
And it's not just about the water system. There is pipes that was laid in the ground that is deteriorated.
Right.
Yeah.
So you gotta rebuild the infrastructure.
Right. So example, you got an old car, and you need to put a new transmission or a new part on the car,
a new engine.
So guess what happens to the other parts in the car? They start blowing out because you got a new part. So as we changing water wells, you got more pressure and stuff. Then here come the pipes busting.
That's
right. You change this and you change that. So it's so much things, but we have to go through it so we could get to where we're trying to get. All of these things was broken. I didn't make it break. I didn't break it. This is what I inherit.
Right.
The infrastructure, the streets, the sidewalks, the pipes, the water, the sewer, the lift stations, the automobiles, the equipment. All of this was when I came into office was all broken.
It was already in the play.
Right, and here we are, we fixing it. And listen, when the water is off or this is happening, the people, what's going on, what the mayor, what you talking about? We fixing it, What my guys do, and if we had a water break, we go at nighttime. When people finish, take a bath and cook and bathe, we go at night to convenient the people, what I'm saying, and work through the night to fix a broken water leak. And we very transparent of what we doing. I don't see all kind of other cities that do that, and they got a lot of the same problems that I got. Yeah. But we try to be transparent. We try to let the people know, and sometimes we get beat up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't understand that. It was fine when you didn't have people that was in elected position. They wasn't doing nothing. They were just sitting down and nothing was getting done. There was no accountability. Now, since you became mayor, there is accountability and people is actually working and moving and doing what needs to be done, and now people still talking the nonsense.
Well, what I learned is what you did for me lately. So, you could do 18 things and you do it quick, and if you don't do but 3 or 4 things at the end, it's like, well, what he did or what you're doing. But I think people got a short-term memory of how bad it was.
Yes,
and
correct. You hit it on the head, brother,
and as I'm working, I'm not that person to always say, okay, look what I did, look what I did. I'm just there doing the work, just getting the work done and fixing it. So I that's not who I am. If I help somebody, I don't tell people.
It's not about bragging and,
No.
and taking the pride and the victory and the
No.
glory. Because Jason, it's not just about you as mayor, because you got to have people in position. When the pipes break, you got to have a man or team that understand what they need to do to fix the pipe or to change out the lines and satisfy the public.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Just like you got an electrical problem, the lights go off. You got to have an electrician who understands how to solve the problem. And fix the problem.
And
it's all about teamwork. It's not just about Mayor Jason Willis. It's on how Mayor Jason Willis moved the town. How Mayor Jason Willis put order in place for people to do the jobs that they need to do.
Well, and it's so odd that, I'm gonna give you another example, and I use everything through example. When you go on a trip, if you go on a cruise or something, or you go to a different country, like let's just say Jamaica, or you go to Mexico, you go sightseeing, right? Mm-hmm. And you see how these people are living. And, we go sightseeing in the churches and the villages and stuff like that. And the people that's living there looking at us like, what y'all over here looking at this for? Like, what's so amazing about this? Mm-hmm. But it's amazing to us to go see it.
That's right.
Because we don't see that, and, we don't appreciate it. So this is how we are at home. We don't appreciate what we have, but other people will come from a different city, a different state, a different country, and appreciate what you got.
Because the quality of life is totally different
for
them than it is over here.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's why they appreciate it more.
Right. So we just take a lot of stuff
most
for granted.
Most of all, you being successful. You can look a little envy and jealousy in that, too.
Well,
you being successful, brother.
And
it's always that envy and jealousy going to show its face.
Brother Paul,
just keep doing the work. I appreciate it.
Brother Paul, talking about that envy and jealousy, all that envy and jealousy does, it sets us all back.
Yep.
That's all it does.
All it does.
Okay? I never want to be envy and jealous of nobody. I tell everybody, if you can't come to my aid and participate in positive moment and growth, just sit back and let me do what I need to do.
Yeah, sit back, relax, and check it out.
Just check it out.
Yeah, I want to share something with Brother Jason.
Okay.
I always look at it this way. If I had one, I ran for a couple times, I wasn't successful, but when you're doing a service, exactly what it is. It's a burden, my brother. When you you picking a cross up, and if you don't have the fortitude or the leadership. And man, you really impressed me for the first time I heard you. And I see where you had, you rose even further in that little short period of time.
Amen.
And man, you give me hope for all the things like Bill Wallace and North Sea advocating. You give me hope. You give me hope by looking at you, young man.
I appreciate it, man. And listen, I'll tell anybody, this is not an easy job.
No.
It's hard. I had to pray. I had to pray on me.
I see you getting greater last time.
Man. Listen, I'm not trying to look like Obama when I get out of office, man.
Hey, Brother Wallace, I see you getting great, but he keeping the top. He keeping the top down when you come out.
Right. Yeah.
But it can be stressful, and it's all in how you deal with the stressful things that happens. You know.
But remember this, despite of everything, we continue to ride.
Yes.
Right.
And that's the only thing matters to me. Through it all.
And confusion don't bring progress. And that was one of the things that I brought also when I became mayor. So I brought order to these meetings. Mm-hmm. I read an instruction before every meeting of what the rules is. And once you read these rules, them rules it consists of the constituents that's there, the city council, and myself.
Yes.
All right? And it holds us all to these rules. Right. And I get the police to be there. And I tell them, if I say
put them out,
doesn't matter. Put them out. Because what I say is there's no back and forth communication between members of the council, members of the audience, you know what I'm saying, unless to clarify, and the mayor will let you clarify, meaning that I only supposed to allow you to speak one time.
That's right.
Okay, it's no back and forth. Now listen, if we got a conversation going, all right, then I'll allow it, to give explanation. But if it's conflict and confusion, I shut that down.
Yeah, you got
all right.
that's your job.
And even when they was coming for me, because just like you said, they gave the last mayor, which is a female, which is a friend of mine,
hell.
all right, hell.
That's
but
right.
don't think that they didn't give me hell,
Yeah.
all right, because they fought me, but I kept composure and I kept professionalism. And let me tell you what got me past them: education. Because I knew what I could do and what they couldn't do, and I stood on that. So
you
they
read the rule book.
I knew the rule book.
That's right.
So they couldn't tell me this, or it didn't matter if they voted 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
If I knew that they couldn't do that,
I'm gonna bring it out.
I say I'm not doing it.
That's right.
I say now you make me do it.
No,
you can't fire me. No, you make me do it.
Because
Where
I'm
you gonna
elected.
go? I'm elected.
That's
So
right.
So what you gonna do? You gonna go to the ethics? You gonna go where? And you prove to me where I'm supposed to be doing this.
Right.
Just because you said it doesn't matter. So I stood on it. I called the Attorney General's office. They had opinions, and I'll go head to head with them. You know what they say? Who are you? I said, I'm Mayor Jason Willis. And I said, you explain to me why this is like this. And you know what she said? We only our opinion.
That's right.
We only our opinion.
That's
I said, okay, because that last charter, what it was is how you interpret it, right? Meaning that, I'm going to give you another example. We got a picture on the wall. We say, what you see on that picture?
Yeah.
You say you see this. I say I see this, and you say you see this. Doesn't make you right, me wrong, or you right, meaning we see different things. Yeah. We interpret that picture different ways. Doesn't make any of us right. That's what our last charter was, and that's why they was moving the goalposts how they wanted to move it.
Right.
Because it does depend. If you got the attorney and he interpreted it this way, or the city council interpreted it this way, they was going with it this way. And then if the next council or the next mayor come, they interpret it this way, or the city attorney was going with it this way.
Right.
So that means there was no structure.
No Robert Rule of Order.
Right. So what I did, first we did the Larson Act, but even under that charter, I stood on what I interpreted.
That's right.
Okay? And then you tell me how I'm wrong.
That's right.
Right.
Because you see it this way doesn't mean
That
me
is
see that my way is wrong.
Right.
And then tell me where you go. If you got one attorney say it this way, I'm gonna go get another attorney say it this
That's
way.
right.
Right.
And then I stood on it.
You know what? And when it pertains to that, and I'm gonna tell you this, young man, when it pertains to that old charter, you had a group of people that designed that charter, and that charter was designed to hold St. Martinville down. Okay?
Right.
Because if you look at back in times, that charter was designed to keep people fighting against people. The blacks fighting against the whites fighting against the blacks. And, it never moved the town. The blacks control Main Street, some portions of Main Street. The white control upper portions of Main Street. And that's why that charter.
Railroad track. You talking about the railroad track?
Well, it wasn't the railroad track.
They didn't have railroad
They didn't have the
tracks
railroad track, Brother Paul.
I know. I'm just saying, same principle.
Yeah.
It's the same principle. It's the same principle.
Yeah, they had lines drawn.
They had
for
lines
the black,
drawn on
line drawn for the white.
And that's all it was about.
Control.
Yeah, it was always about controlling and the areas of growth in keeping people in poverty.
And
Okay.
most
And the other thing, when you hold people down, somebody got to be there to hold them. So guess what? There ain't no progress.
Well, they use the political arena, Brother Paul. The political arena is the thing that holds them down.
If you're gonna stop hold people back from prospering, somebody got to be there to hold them back.
Well,
yeah,
guess
well,
what?
you know what, Brother Paul?
we
But at one time, St. Martinville in the '60s, people would leave Lafayette
and go to St. Martinville.
Go to St. Martinville.
Yeah.
When the club closed in Lafayette, we'd drive to St. Martinville and had plenty of fun. Sometimes we wouldn't even go to the club in Lafayette. We'd go direct to St. Martinville.
It was a place to socialize.
Yeah, because
I've been to St. Martinville a couple of times during y'all time when y'all was hanging out throwing functions out there, and I had a good time.
Yes.
I came from Lake Charles.
Yeah.
Well, people always showed love. People
Yeah.
always showed love.
Well, it was
Oh
always
man, they sure did.
it was always controlled with the black clubs and
Yes.
stuff like this here, but you couldn't get outside of that area, because now you're not in the black area. You're going into the white area.
Jason, while I got you here, I want to talk about the newcomers parade in St. Marville. I hear that it's coming back in 2027. And let me tell you why I want to talk about that parade. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I want you to understand this, that parade was generated by the newcomers who was formed by my aunt Lily and my uncle Lawrence Narcisse. They formed the newcomers organization way back when we was young individual. And the purpose of that newcomers organization being formed was because I don't know if you remember when the whites was hold the boucherie in the state park, and we as young people could not attend that function, and so that was the reason why. It took off in within the city of St. Marville because it brought a lot of revenue to the town, but because of mismanagement and people that didn't see the vision, ran it down into the ground. What do you see for the future of this?
Karen Crew, I mean, St. Martinville, we would do it big by the shop or we was in the parade. So I love parades. The thing is, long time ago, when Sheriff Fugely was in office, Sheriff Fugely gave his officers, which was the sheriff, free of charge. So they didn't have to pay for no security. The St. Martinville City Police, whether it was 10, 15, whatever officers they had, that was free of charge as well, too. I think even in office when Mr. Nelson was there, he was able to pay for the insurance. All of that has changed, when Sheriff Ronnie Terrio got into office, there's no more giving officers. You have to pay for it. And the same thing with Becky Brook. But any city do the same thing. You cannot give taxpayers dollars because this is a private organization who's coming through a function in the city. You can't use taxpayers' dollars to support a private entity, or not entity, or group.
A private group.
Group. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me say this. I had an idea that I had brought to the table, and one of the ideas that I brought to the table was that the newcomers need to be self-sufficient. So what they need to do is some type of festival to generate revenue where they can, pay for the things that they need to pay for. But the city need to allow them to and help them to generate this revenue.
Well, I mean, I don't explain to me what you're saying. So the city don't block it. You know what I'm saying? Do not block it, meaning that you could do it. We got an ordinance, even with the parade. When they say that they stopped the parade, they never did stop the parade, and I'm gonna defend.
The parade stopped itself.
The parade stopped itself,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna defend even before I was mayor. They got an ordinance in place. Now listen, what they went do is they went put stipulations. They went find when they went to that UL and this guy gave a sheet of all the stuff you need to do to make it safe. I think it was way out there, but it still didn't stop it. Meaning that they said you had to. Instead of having 10 officers, now you need to have 50 officers, and I'm just using an example. Instead of barricades just here, you got to have barricades more places.
Throughout, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they made it more harder, but in turn, they're trying to say they was making it more safe. Now listen, we can't run away from crime. We can't run away from shootings and stuff like that. It can happen in the park. It can happen at the school. It can happen at the church. It can happen anywhere. But when a parade or a planned event is about to happen, the city has to make sure that everything is in place if something happens.
Secure.
Meaning you still can't prevent it. It could happen with the police right here. All right, just like at the school, the police was right there, and that shooting happened. But they still had the police there. They had the security there. They did what they were supposed to do, and that's why I stood up and said, "Why are you gonna stop this?" Because the security was there. The guy just did it, but you can't have this example, 20 officers, and you got 50,000 people.
No,
all right,
that's not
you can't do it.
That's
you
not
can't
per body.
You have to be able to give an emergency route, and that parade has gotten so big because St. Martinville parade is probably one of the top 10 in the state.
Well, when the parade was first formed, they brought my uncle and aunt brought like Grambling, Southern,
right,
They
from
brought,
everywhere.
They brought people from everywhere.
From everywhere. So you got to think, and this happened to another city. It almost became so large because what you see is not what it is. Because when you at the parade, you only seen all the people there, but you're not seeing
what's happening during the parade
and outside.
Yeah,
the parade, the traffic was blocked all the way to Highway 90,
yes,
all the way to Cade, all the way going to the New York Bridge,
I saw that
across the bridge, and so you confide in the city. So when the parade was finishing, but you don't have an emergency route, how you gonna get the people in? How you gonna get them out if something happens? But then after the parade, you can't even get the traffic out of there because everybody making a loop, and you don't have enough officers to
do traffic
that.
Orchestrate the traffic.
So you have to have a plan, and I think that's what they're working on. But also the assessment is the security, and I think they go on the amount of people that they think they'll be there, and they go check out Youngsville, Caring Crew, and see how many officers they got. So now you're talking about the officers. They don't want to work them parades because they're scared. So they charging $50, some of them $60 an hour. And you got to figure you're going to be doing 8 to 10 hours per officer. All right, so you're looking at almost $80,000 just in officers because you're going to need at least 100 to 120 because it's not just in the area, but you got to do road patrol. You know what I'm saying? You got to do the Oscars, and you're going to have to get troopers involved. So then you got that,
but then the troopers are working from the taxpayers' money.
But you still got to pay them. You got to pay them.
So the parade actually got to pay them?
Yeah, you got to pay them. Because they come and do an event, you know that's extra duty for them. That's not stopping traffic. You know that's extra duty.
Okay,
that's just like when they're escorting.
They
get paid by the hour. So you got to do all that. You got to have you got to do the portalets. And the city can't use city dollars like they did in the previous.
Okay.
Now we do a Christmas parade. I took that. Okay, because Mr. George would do that, and he had another charge for that. Christmas is different from Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras, yeah.
Even though it's a parade and it brought a lot of people, and even call it the Christmas Gras, but you don't allow people to drink on the floats. Now, I ain't saying they don't. They might sneak it, but you're not just allowing it. You don't allow cuss music. I'm not saying that they're not playing it, but you're telling them that the rules is you can't do it. And it's more of a kid's atmosphere, and it's still bringing a lot of people together. So I took that as the city. Okay, and then we do a festival afterward to get the people off the streets to go. So the parade be nice, and and you don't have people from New Orleans and this. You're gonna have the surrounding little areas, but it's not gonna be as big and as bad, and it's still a different atmosphere. So it's not gonna be people just drinking. Once again, I like the parade Mardi Gras, but it's two different things.
Well, Mardi Gras is time, but people, meaning the lit season is coming in, and
right.
People about to give up drinking, so they go all out the way, and party. Some people take it to the extreme means.
Yeah, and it's like a funeral. If you have a funeral on a Saturday, you got to pay for the escort.
Yeah.
But if you have it during the week,
you don't pay for it.
You don't pay for it because they're already on duty.
Right.
And that's just like parades. If you're gonna have a parade on a weekend, you got to pay for the security. You got to pay for everything. But if you have it during the week, they already have to be there. So in other words, it's not as expensive.
Correct.
So do you see the parade happening in 2027?
I mean, they got the date. They spoke with the chief and the sheriff, and they got the date. They got to come up with the money. You got a lot of people that got special interest in the parade, and a lot of people from out of town. But this is what I say: if everybody has all this special interest in the parade, why they're not coming with contributions toward the parade? Yeah. Because this is the thing: if the newcomers could get fronted the money one time, then they should be able to maintain it going. Yeah. But they're not going to be able to. It's going to be hard to raise $100,000, and I'm just giving a number, to throw a parade, because a lot of the money that they're going to have to get is going to be from the floats that's going to be in the parade. All right? And so you're going to have to wait till you see who coming to collect the money. And so, but if you got the money fronted, you got it ahead of time, and then from going on, as you collect the money from the floats, that'll be for the following year.
And that's why I always told them that they need to do some type of festival to generate the funds to put this parade on. You know, Jason, I mean, everything we did in the past ourselves, we raised big money, but we did it before it was time for us to make this event happen. You know, and that's one thing that that they got to understand. They got to develop some type of festival before they put this parade.
Or do a GoFundMe.
That GoFundMe ain't going to hit it.
And they did that. They tried that. And it ain't going to hit it. It didn't do nothing.
No.
You know, so...
you know, and my thing is, like I told them, my thing is, you know, we got people like myself. We got people like Nathan, who is my family member, little Nathan, big Nathan. And, you know, they play all over. They play all over the world. People could go all over and pay money to see Big Nathan, Little Nathan, and a bunch of other people. That's good talent that come from St. Martinville. I think if the people that has talent get together and support the newcomer, it could happen.
Anybody need to say anything to Jason, the mayor of St. Martinville? The number's right there on the screen. You could call him and commend him or ask him something that y'all need to ask him. He ain't going to bite y'all because even though y'all can see him.
So you know, that's the thing that I think that they need to understand. They got to have some type of way to be self-sufficient.
Right.
They got to create some type of way to generate the funds with some type of big concert.
Yeah.
Where you could in a diversity place, where you can include everybody.
But this is the thing, and I'll say it again. The newcomers gave events, and they say that they raising money for the parade. And all the people that say they want the parade don't support the events. You see, so we don't support each other.
Yeah.
You know, listen, you want the parade, all right, and the newcomers will they'll give this event, they'll give this event, and they'll give this event, and they'll say we're raising money towards the parade. And when you go, they got a handful of people. So these events should be packed.
Yeah.
Because you guys is the one who want the parade, and they actually fighting to give the parade to you.
Yeah.
But then you're not supporting the event.
And that's crazy.
So, that's the dilemma, so, but the city can't come in and put no city dollars toward a private organization event. Yeah. It's just what it is. Long time ago, a lot of things was a certain way. Now you go to jail.
Yeah,
you go to jail.
Yeah.
I ain't going to jail for nobody.
Not just that. I heard that. Not just that. Back in the days when they done things, nothing was audited.
Yeah.
They didn't have to face them federal audits.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing, man. Nowadays, look, the federal government is auditing. They want to know how you using the money and how you utilizing that money.
Trust me.
How you using taxpayers' money?
Well, yeah,
it's not their money. It's taxpayers' money.
Well, it's taxpayers' money. That's why they tell you if you misappropriate funds, you know what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they got some misappropriated funds and all kinds of
They
stuff.
got away with it.
Yeah.
They got away with it. And they had to keep their fingers crossed because they got away with it. And unfortunately, they got away because they didn't have audits. And the way business was done in the past, man, is totally different now. Jason, when it pertains to the council members now, how are you and the council members working? Y'all working good together?
Listen, so since this Larson Act, it's been quiet, man. It's been calm the waters. Listen, I got the 2 council members that was totally against it. We know who they are. They checked out. The one that's been there for 33 years, he's not running no more. The other one, she decided not to run. So I think this next council that's going to be coming in going to be the best council one of the best councils, organization that the city ever had. And it's not that I need council members to be no yes person.
No.
I just, listen. What it is every council member is representing the district. And the council is supposed to represent their district and take care of their district. I was a council member for 12 years. and I made sure that my district is taken care of. You know, and a lot of people that was in my district was the city of Parks or the village of Parks. And matter of fact, I just came from a funeral and I seen so many of them, and they was all telling me good luck. And one of the things I said, if Parks had to vote for me, I would blow this race out the water. They said, you sure would. You know, because I took care of these people as a council member, meaning that I'd seen the needs of them. And that's what a council member is supposed to do.
Right,
the council member not supposed to come and worry about what's happening at City Hall and administration. Yeah, they over the budget, you know, they approve the budget and they approve, you know, me to do this and do this, but they was trying to be the boss of the employees and stuff, but not taking care of their district. You know, we got districts that got all kind of, if it's a pothole, if it's a nuisance property, if it's whatever, you shouldn't even have to wait for people to call you. My district as the parish was 5,000 people spread out, and I would ride all the problem areas, and I would call it in and make sure that it's continuously getting done. If they call it in one time.
Not to cut you off, what you say you would do to your district?
Ride his district.
Ride my district. Ride it.
They don't ride here.
They're not riding.
They're not riding here. I guarantee you that.
You have to ride it.
One councilman did that. I know.
Pat Lewis.
For Pat Lewis.
Yeah.
Pat Lewis rode his district to see what was going on.
You know, let me tell you something. If you're going to run for public office and you're going to say, I want to run, and let's say you win the seat, your job is not just to be at
a bench warmer.
No, at the city council meeting. Your job is to go door to door, talking to people, asking what they feel is needed in their area.
Right.
Make yourself accessible to people, because that's what a public servant is. When you choose the job of serving these people.
No, they sit back and wait till they get a call and that they don't answer.
But you see, this is the thing. Like I said, you could get the call, but you see the problems already. Or if you get the call
when you're riding,
and you know that's a problem area, then every few weeks go check on that area again. Because if we took care of it one time, then probably next month is going to be needed to take care of it again.
Yes.
So you should just have that on your list to go check it and make sure that you turn it in. And guess what? If the work ain't getting done, then that's when you come to me.
That's right.
And then you put it on my back, saying that I got it to the mayor, and the mayor is not getting my work done.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, sir. But Jason, look here, we coming down to the wire.
So we need you to give people your number that they're gonna be voting, because some people vote numbers.
I'm not worrying about his number. I'm worrying about how they could get in contact with him.
Yeah, we're gonna get him back
to support you in what you're doing. So, would you please give them your information? Because we got 2 minutes left.
Well, I got a website, Jason Willis Mayor website. You can contact me on social media. I got Jason Willis for mayor on social media, or just my regular social media, or you can contact me at City Hall. You know, running for mayor again. Like I said, I did 4 years. I got a lot more stuff to go. I got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe already. Got a lot of capital outlay projects that's about to begin, meaning that we're about another $8 million that's coming down the pipe to get some more projects done. What I'm saying is, if it ain't broke, why are we trying to fix it? I'm still waiting to hear what I'm not doing correct. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes. I'm not saying that we don't have a long ways to go, but look where we started from and look where we at now.
And that's the key thing.
You know, and that's what it's all about, progress. If we're making some progress, if we're doing things better and we're improving, then, you know, what we trying to change, you know,
Because all your project that you got somebody else getting there, they all going down the drain, bro.
Yeah, correct.
Because they're not gonna
see the vision you saw.
Yeah,
correct.
You know, and Jason, we appreciate you, man. Anytime. I like the way you think. I like what you're doing.
Yes.
Or what you have done to St. Martinville. I don't live in St. Martinville, but I appreciate what I see you have done in St. Martinville by me going through and just looking over things, because I used to go to St. Martinville when I was in my teens, bro. When I got my first car, that's where I had to go,
Well,
So
let's again, y'all. Let's continue to support Mayor Jason Willis and keep the good things happening for the city of St. Martinville, the growth and the positive things, not go back to the negative things.
And I got one thing to say. Vote early because you don't know what's going to happen on election day. You could get sick. The weather going to be bad. There's a lot of different rules with the polling. Vote
It's
number
changing.
31. You got a whole week to vote from May 2nd. A whole week to vote. So start on May 2nd and there's a whole week after that. And you go to one spot and cast your vote. Number 31, Jason Willis for mayor.
Get ready for the next show. We getting ready to talk to the clerk of court, young lady who will be educating us on the changes and the process of voting. We'll